The Monsters Playbook is an adventure podcast for grown-ups. It contains violence and profanity and deals with adult themes that may be uncomfortable for some listeners. Specific content warnings can be found in the episode show notes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Monsters Playbook, an actual play Monster of the Week podcast coming to you in stereo surround sound. This week on the cover story, the team is pushing towards the finish line and paying for every inch. The good news? They're able to use every lesson they've learned the hard way to fight smarter than ever. The bad news? So is the Star King. Both sides have their thinkers and their bruisers, but maybe, just maybe, the advantages our heroes have collected will change the tide. But the thing about tides is, they don't change easy.
I'm John, and I play Mark Clayton.
I'm Lauren, and I play Kira and Anna Ashwood.
I'm Miah, and I play Casey Davis and Theo Nessos.
I'm Jonny, I play literally everybody else. Let's play smart, people. Who is where? Where are all you guys starting?
I believe we're all in the Clockwork Child.
All of us are currently at the Clockwork Child. There is a detachment of some of Kira's team and some of our other allies that are in the Sea Kingdom currently staging an ambush, which includes Gad, Vanya, Yuna, Jesse, Thugamon, Gale, and the Princeling, and Lowry.
Yep. And then you guys are all at the Clockwork Child, and so are...
We're all at the Clockwork Child, so is Casey and some of the Doors folks. Dad and Aaron, I would assume, are still there. Preston is here with the coachman.
I think most of the Invisible family is here.
Mm-hmm.
And Theo had just said, I want to face him. And by him, she means the Star King.
So I think we would pick up then right in that conversation, Theo, like literally going to previously on the cover story, I think I have to face him. Cut to black, cut back up. Kira's reaction shot.
But Theo, we made all these clones so that we could have an escape, that we could do this. Doing this alone, that
We should stick with the plan.
I'm not going to be alone. I mean, we have Mark's telephone, and I can bring the Theo clone with me, or she can go with you.
well, the rest of our clones would be there, theoretically. But it's dangerous.
It's a big risk, Theo.
I mean, it's dangerous either way, facing him alone or facing him together.
Why do you need to talk to him?
What are you going to get from him?
Closure. Finally facing what I've been avoiding. I mean, I know I might not get closure and I might not get a resolve, but I at least know that I attempted to say my piece.
I think inside Kira's head, she's thinking of kind of times when she's wanted the same thing, with whether it was with Donovan or with the director or with even her father or Hendrickson.
I also just think if I'm facing him, if he does anything to me, it's going to hurt him too. And whereas instead if we send our clones, he can, I don't know, snap his fingers and then be there in front of us anyways. If anything, I'm buying you guys time.
Yeah, but we need you to complete this.
I am. I'm playing a part. I'm doing what I want to do.
So let's say you do this. Is the plan to say your piece and then lock him up in the room as planned?
That's what I'm going to try. You think I was going to do something else?
No, I just...
In every other scenario, there's been a way out. Like this is huge though. If he does something to you, the whole world is on the line.
The whole world's already on the line.
If he does something to all of us, the world's on the line. If he does something to me, you guys are going to be there to fight it. I know that if the roles were reversed, you would want to do the same thing. Whether you're facing your mom, whether you were facing your demons, Kara, Anna. I faced my family and said my piece. This isn't a suicide mission. It's not why I'm doing it.
It's a suicide mission for all of us, but we need to do this.
I get it, Theo. I do. We just want you to be safe. So if you really need to do this, I get it. But let's make sure that we give you every chance you can to succeed.
Do you look at Mark when you say that?
I'm saying it's Theo.
Oh, okay. All right.
She wants to do this. Kira gets it. She's letting her chart her own path.
I was just thinking she would be like, Mark, follow along.
She might say it to Theo, and then she might kind of look kind of around the room like, this is what's going to happen. We're doing what Theo wants.
You and Casey like lock eyes for a hot second, and Casey gives you the slightest nod of like approval. No, not approval. Agreeance.
Mark's got 1,000-mile stare and just like...
So Theo, let's lay this out. Theo wants to talk to the Grey Hand. We have the oubliette that we are going to try to trap him in. We need to somehow get him to go into the oubliette, which we do have the fake crown that would entice him potentially in there. So that's bait, I guess, to get him to go in.
And then Theo was the other one to guide him to that.
The other bait.
Well, and the rest of our clones would also be there.
Right.
So we have that. Do we think that that's enough to try to convince him to go into this oubliette? Because remind me, the oubliette is in like a second bedroom or a closet, or...
It's a room in the second bedroom's closet.
Yeah, that's not suspicious at all. I guess if it comes up where he's like, if he's suspicious, you could say something like, we had it here because it wouldn't draw suspicion or something like that. We wanted it somewhere where it would be shielded so that it wouldn't get in the wrong hands.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You just have to go take it. I don't know. He's going to be suspicious no matter what. Like, this is not going to be easy. I literally have a hard time picturing him just walking in willingly. We're probably going to have to shove him in there, push him in there somehow when the time comes.
Jonny, can we take a gander to Casey's question corner? Because I have 2 questions from Connect the Dots that I can use.
Okay.
I would like to ask, what would convince the Star King to go into the oubliette? Casey has dealt with a lot of monsters over the years. She's overseen a lot of cases in her experience and knowledge. If she was in this kind of situation, what advice would she give Theo and the others?
He's a planner and a calculator, so you would have to convince him or orchestrate it such that he would convince himself that going in there would give him some advantage. One thought would be to stage some kind of attack and posit that would be the only place that he could be safe. Seems unlikely. I don't think you're going to get him in there without going in there yourself, first of all.
Yeah.
So
maybe you could use it as a tactic where it's like, all of us clones are there, right? We're talking, you say, I want to talk to you alone where they can't hear us. Hear me out and I'll give you the crown. And you can go in there.
I could stage it as if like I'm turning on you guys, like trap the clones in a dome bubble.
You could show him that vision that you had, or that Mark had of the future.
Oh, I could tell him that Mark had a vision.
And you've seen it because I think he showed you it. So you, with your, I'll see your powers. Maybe you show him like, I know it's inevitable. I don't want to fight anymore. I just want you to hear me out. And if you do that, I'll give you the crown. And say that you want to speak in private, maybe. I don't know. It seems kind of weird to walk into a closet.
Well, I mean, can I play it to him that, like, I have this room that will prevent both of us from using magic.
Yeah.
So I can't use it against you and you can't use it against me. We're on equal playing fields.
And he might think that he's overpowering for that, so he just might be like,
maybe cocky and just be like, oh, you did this? Okay.
Like he's stronger than whatever magic.
Yeah, like you can't stop me.
Yeah, exactly. This is the plan. It's sound.
The question then becomes, how do you get out of there? I know you can leave at will, but then also, how can you teleport out? I think we can have that teleportation device from doors. We could leave it somewhere at Yano's so that you could leave there, so that you could get to the rest of us while we are in the Sea Kingdom doing another spell, potentially getting prepped. Do
you want to send Theo with anyone else aside from the clones in a getaway car, kind of?
Dawnbreak will be on reserve in case we need them. I do think I want to give Theo some more protection. Anna would like to give her more protection. I think she's going to use one of her abjuration effects on Theo. She's going to ask you, do you have any thoughts on a henna tattoo that you would like? Any particular protection runes that you like?
Good ones.
Cool. The algae's rune will work well for that. And she's going to do a tattoo on Theo's wrist, maybe.
You might want to do it up higher. like on her forearm. Just also because Theo has tattoos on one hand and her branding on the other.
She'll do it a little higher up then. She'll do it on the forearm. A tattoo that will continually protect them against one specific type of monster. I would like it to be the Grey Hand.
Okay.
So you can either, any harm that you receive by them is reduced by 1 harm, or they can't locate you through magical means. He already isn't supposed to be able to do that because of that thing we did, so I think it'll be the harm. So anytime that you take harm from him, you would receive 1 less harm. So I'll do that. Would Dawnbreak or Doors have any like devices that could cause a distraction so that Theo, when the time is right, could get away? Like a fucking, what am I thinking of? Like a flash bomb, you know?
Well, they'd probably have flash grenades.
Because I mean, we need you to be, whenever the time is right, like you'll need to get out of there. So I don't know if you have any thoughts, but we could provide some extra equipment maybe, or help with that.
Yeah, I mean, we have your standard flash grenades or militaristic weapons. Invisible Family might have something.
I was going to say Invisible Family would have a lot of gadgets.
Well, can we get something like that to help out here?
If we take one or a few of our flash grenades or like smoke grenades, is there any way that we can incorporate Mom's control over electricity to create some sort of like electric fence? Maybe if Theo took it and like threw it on the ground, and that not only does it blow up smoke and sort of hide her, it'll prevent anything from kind of chasing after her into the smoke, like running into a net of electricity. Not really like familiar on how your magic works, Mom, but
It's not magic.
excuse me, powers.
It's a sentient Earth.
And it's not electricity exactly. Don't be pedantic, Mom.
We haven't had the meeting yet. You keep declining my invites. It's for work.
Yeah, I think that would be doable. What I want you to write down is that it will be what's called a signal bomb. Fair warning, this won't be pleasant for you either. So just be on the right side of it when it goes off.
What do you mean? Like I shouldn't stick around and it won't be pleasant, or?
I mean, it's not a force field bomb.
Basically, yeah, you're like in proximity to a grenade. Be careful. Okay, so let's plan for that. We'll have the Invisible Family help set that up with Doors. We can have some of my people from Dawnbreak close by in case they need to intervene and help give backup.
I think Doors would also totally have this, Jonny. You can totally say no. Could Casey give Theo something to break that will, like when she breaks it, it sends out an emergency signal, essentially a signal that's like, it's going bad. Is that something that Doors would have? I think Doors would have it. So that's something that we could give Theo. And would that work in the oubliette? I know we have the earrings.
I want Casey to roll deal with the agency.
But I am the agency.
Still gotta deal with the bureaucracy.
And what's its deal?
9.
Yes, you can have something. It is like a
I kind of can I give it a name?
give it a name.
Okay, you can veto it, but I feel like we'd maybe name it a doorbell.
Oh boy. What I want it to be then is a rudimentary tuning fork. And when you strike it, it should send a tone that will signal the relevant, basically a receiver that should be ancient enough to be so as to be unaffected by the oubliette.
So I think we have a plan-ish, and the rest of us are going to go to the sea to help out with that ambush that we were talking about. But then I think Anna will step forward and she'll tear a page from like a notebook somewhere that we have, and we'll actually hand it to Theo. I've been working on a spell. When we get over there, we're going to want to do it. And I don't know how much time we'll have, if you are able to join us, or maybe your clone can act as a stand-in while you're doing what you need to do here. But I'm going to need something from you first. And I think she goes and she like looks at, is it Ramsey or Lincoln right now?
It's Ramsey.
Okay, so then she looks to Ramsey and she says, do we have any of that ink, the good kind from the acorns? No, not the acorns, the black walnuts. Do we have those?
Is this something from before, or is this an off-screen thing?
This is part of her spell. You know what? I'm going to send you my spell right now, Jonny.
Okay, do. Thank you.
This is one of the components, is the ink. Apparently, black walnuts makes some of the darkest ink, and it's particularly good for using with Book of Shadow spells.
Ooh. I think Ramsey's going to go, if I ask you why, am I going to like the answer?
You can review my notes once we get to the sea. It's for a spell, so maybe you'll like it. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, she'll go over and like straight to one of the many bookcases in here and like pull out a drawer that has just dozens of little vials clinking around and picks up a small one about the size of a thumb.
Okay. Anna brings over some of the ink, pen, brings it over to Theo and hands you the paper. I just need you to write down as much as you can think of, stories, memories, pieces of you, the words that you think of when you think about your past, your life. Who are you? Who is Theo Nessos? Just write down as much as you need to. It doesn't have to be complete sentences, just thoughts. The intent is what's important.
How much do you need?
Just try to fill the page.
Just answer the question. What's your story?
Okay, it might take a few minutes.
I don't need you to do that right now.
Yeah. And so once Theo is done writing that, Anna will take it. And I think she'll give it to your other clone for the time being. And would say to the clone Theo, I think it probably is best to keep this with you until hopefully Theo can join us with the rest of the spell. But if time's an issue, we might need you to fill in.
Sure, I can do that.
Cool.
She'll fold it up and put it in her pocket.
Okay. Kira will, I think, pull Theo into a hug. We believe in you. Be safe, okay?
Yeah.
We'll see you soon. Hug you really tight.
Be safe, Theo.
I think Anna will also give Theo a hug. Don't fucking die, okay?
That's the hope. You don't either.
Yeah.
You're facing more enemies than I am.
Yeah, but you're kind of facing a big one. And we need our Theo, so come back to us in one piece, okay?
Okay. Oh, Theo will grab Anna's hand. Keep an eye on Mark. He's now the king.
Yeah, we'll make sure no sharp, pointy mind knives get anywhere near him.
Oh, also, remind him he has wings.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mark's in the corner going, I'm a king, I'm a king, I'm a king.
Oh my God.
Why are you the way that you are?
Everyone's having these heartfelt goodbyes with Theo, and Mark's just like, oh, bye.
Wow.
Big John energy.
No, but Anna will say, yeah, I'll make sure he's taken care of.
Mark, roll act under pressure.
11.
So Mark is being introspective. An annoyed Ramsey will look between him and Anna, roll her eyes, and stomp on the floor. And then Mark, it's as though the whole room has tilted and you just go sliding across the wood floor until you are standing in front of Theo.
Oh, did you have something else to say?
Just don't get yourself killed. Don't get yourself killed alone. I mean, if we're going to do this, let's do it together.
Okay. Thanks for the advice.
I love you.
I think you hear Anna go, fucking kiss her.
Oh my God.
And Mark goes, and then I think he, and I think he gestures at a kiss, oh, fuck it. And then he just kisses you.
I'll see you in the sky.
Let's see.
Stars, see, I'll see you there.
I think Mark just grabs you and hugs you and is just just come back, okay? Just come back.
You too.
There we go.
So I think we would talk to the coachman / Preston, probably.
Oh yeah, he's here. God damn it.
They were our ride. The thing that people will want to chase.
Okay.
The rest of the clones are staying back with Theo, which, if I'm correct, we can basically tune in to kind of pilot them, right?
Yes.
But Clone Theo is going with the rest, with hunters.
So Clone Theo's going with you guys, who are going with the coachman into the stars to try to rile up the princes and get them to chase you into the sea?
Yeah, we're trying to get them to chase us into the sea. Wherever we think that wherever the activity is, I guess, right now. I'm assuming that the coachman would kind of have an idea, would have a bead on.
There's the Star Citadel. That's what I had in my notes.
And so that's the main force. That's Kira, that's Anna.
Mark, and then Tommy, and then everybody else that's waiting in ambush for them. I don't know what you want to do, Casey, with doors. I mean, if Theo's planning on using that teleportation device as soon as she's done, if you guys come with her, or some of you come with her, or unless you want to come with us right now.
If you want Casey and Doors to come with you, you'll have to roll manipulate someone.
I mean, we had talked about you joining in on the full-on assault part, that's coming up. So, I mean, if you want me to roll manipulate someone, I will.
Yeah.
But I thought we had agreed.
I know. I vaguely remember something, but it's still extremely hard to send my agents into something.
Well, I think Kira would say, I mean, we would love to have more of your people there. More folks fighting on the front lines would definitely be useful. 11.
Was that roll enough to commit a detachment of security soldiers?
Doesn't have to be everybody.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be everybody. And just for so you know, you are in the spell.
Great. No pressure. So I have to be there. I think Kira coming to Casey, and Casey's like sort of having a conversation with Gia and a couple other agents that I don't think that you recognize, Kira. And when you step up, I think the other agents for sure like sort of wrap up their conversation quickly and walk away. And Casey nods at them, and Gia takes a nice, polite step away where she's still near, but gives us a little bit of a privacy bubble. This is a hard ask, Kira.
I wouldn't ask if it wasn't, world ending.
Yeah.
I mean, if the world's gonna end, I kind of want to go out side by side with a friend.
It's the best way to go out. Okay. Let me gather up some of my best agents. I mean, Talk's team should be here. Jaga will be mad if he misses out. And, Gia, you're gonna have to stay behind.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, for where I'm standing, if I go out, there's gonna need to be a new director.
Yeah, her eyes will go wide, and she will just squeak out a like, "Okay."
Whether it's you, or at least you making the guiding decision of who should be director, you're one of the people I trust most. You know where to find disaster protocols in my desk.
Sure thing, boss.
Okay, we're doing this.
I think Anna from the side of the room is like, "Fuck yeah!" I really didn't know what I was gonna do if I had to rewrite that verse with you in it. It would have been, I don't know. It probably could have had to stand in, but that wouldn't have been the same. So, yay, you're here.
What's she talking about?
Who's that?
Gia.
I want to have, for the record, that when we go in, and I think like with doors in the wings standing by, because that's your intention, right, Lauren?
Yeah.
Is like doors to come swooping in.
I mean, or you can just come with us now, or you could use the device. I think the ambush is going to happen first, and then it would be the spell probably after that. But we definitely want you there for the spell.
I'll just come first.
Okay, cool.
I'll just come with you at the beginning. Casey's going to stick by Nick, or vice versa. Nick's going to stick by Casey. I think Casey's going to give Nick the other double-sided glaive.
Okay.
Don't hurt yourself with this.
I mean, usually it's pointy part out, but you gave me one that's all pointy parts. No promises.
I can give it to somebody else if you don't know how to handle it.
No. I didn't say that.
All right, Coachman. I think we're ready to go.
Okay. We'll just go. So Kira, Anna, Mark, Tommy, Nick, and Casey climb aboard the charming Coachman's coach. And then Theo and the rest of the clones are going to take just a normal
And the Theo
terrestrial.
clone, yeah.
Oh, yes. And Theo.
To there. And you, Ramsey as well.
Oh, yeah, Ramsey. Ramsey, come with. I have to talk to you about the spell.
I think on the way out, Ramsey's going to sort of sidle up to Dad en route to the front door. Is it always this annoying? Being like a teacher? Dad looking surprised at first, but then quickly understanding. Well, it's not a job that you pick. Kind of picks you.
You coming, boss?
Yes. And she'll like shoulder a bag and come out and climb on. I think where we're going to go, we're going to follow first the coach. Riding this thing for the first minute or two feels off because you realize that you are unaccustomed to feeling the wheels of this coach actually contact terrestrial ground. So it's rough and noisy like it never was on the other side.
Did you get new bearings on this thing? Seems a little bumpy.
I think from outside you'll hear first, and then he's unaccustomed to our side of, the barrier. This is all a bit unprecedented.
I see.
I'll thank you to keep some of your smartassery to yourself.
Of course. Sorry.
Yes, well put.
Oh my god, I totally imagine like Anna being like, "Oh, does anybody want to play I Spy? Oh, Theo's not here."
Yeah. She might be pouring over her notes right now.
Sounds like there was something that you wanted to run by Ramsey.
Yeah, if it's going to take a minute to get where we need to go, she might grab Ramsey's ear and be like, so I wrote some notes down, some ingredients that I was thinking. You told me to think about a spell, and I did some thinking. Just tell me what you think. And I'm just going to shove her little thoughts into their lap.
Okay.
I mean, if you have any questions, any notes.
I think I kind of want with that, like some of the things that you have in here, one or two of them to have been Ramsey's idea.
Mm-hmm.
What you ought to do is actually etch the rune into the bracelet, into a moonstone bracelet each time.
Multiple bracelets?
No, I mean at each casting. Currently you have, like, she's suggesting some of the things that are in here now, like where maybe currently you have it on like some kind of a medallion or something. And she's like, well, if you have it attached to the body of the caster, that's actually going to make it channel better.
Okay.
If it's freshly carved, you'll reduce the decay quotient.
That's a thing. Okay. Decay quotient. Filing that away.
Seriously? I know you know this. And then, yeah, she'll be marking that up. I'm curious to know what is sort of the what's the vibe / disposition of, I'm gonna call her Cleo, by which I mean Clone Theo.
Okay.
I don't know, what's her deal? Is she like an empty puppet until she decides to speak up, or how should we and the rest of the crew be treating her?
She's kind of like a shadow, I guess. Like if you talk to her or address her, she'll like respond. But I think since it was a mixed success, I think that she is sitting somewhere in the coach, and like it's very creepily clear that she's not a person. She just kind of goes almost doll-like. Not that nobody's home, but just
A sock without a foot.
She's just like waiting, like on standby.
she's on the I just had it screensaver mode. I think that Clone Theo does have Theo's wooden staff though.
Okay, so after a couple of minutes of this rough ride, it suddenly smooths way out, and then any sort of ambient light that had been streaming in through the windows goes out, dims, and there's just like kind of a light whooshing sound as this transition happens. I know that Nick is for sure looking out the window, and any of you who join him will see the surface that you're now riding on, sort of the shape and texture of lava, but like smooth and reflective like glass that is reflecting the liquid explosions of the nebulae above in the various stars and star systems. And you can see way off in the distance is just like this tall, very squarish cityscape, and you are headed toward it. This is the Kingdom of the Stars. Mark, first of all, I think you have the same sort of, at least visual connection to this place as to the sky. So like you can see everything, and it is through you that everyone else can see what's going on in here.
Part of that Skynet or whatever, just being able to visualize. Yeah.
The other thing you get is just like a creeping, I guess, deja vu, that like the way I want to describe this to you is that it's like you've had someone who has read extensively of this place describe it to you in detail. So you can't exactly access the memories. What I'm trying to get at is, in addition to Rose's power, somehow locked up inside of you is all or most of her knowledge. And you could just feel the very itch of that.
And it's familiar with this place?
Yeah. That like, she's been here before a bunch of times, obviously.
Yep. Does this look different to me than those other times that she's seen it?
This is not a way that she would have ever come in here before. You're in like the Star Kingdom's equivalent of the wilderness. And yeah, you can kind of see cropping up ahead of you are these, they seem unnatural because they are so geometric, these big like pillars and posts of, also built out of this glass that seem to have formed or been formed, shoot up in vaguely concentric triangular arrangements.
Sounds No Man's Sky-ish. I love it.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm also looking at it like at the Mountains of Madness, kind of. These sort of formations are impossible.
I think we're getting close, guys. As Mark is just exploring these thoughts that he's never had.
Mark, roll read a bad situation for me.
10.
Okay. This wilderness is not uninhabited.
Moonwolves.
They're more like slimes or like blobs, like these boneless beasts.
Are they keeping them at bay? What? Or is the coachman keeping them at bay by going fast down the path, or what?
Well, that will be a question.
Hey, you do know there's some slimes out here, right?
You know them to be called heat eaters.
You know about the heat eaters, right?
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, it's a king thing.
Mark, roll plus charm.
6.
Perfect. Dismissively, Preston is going to go, yes, of course we know about the heat eaters. And then you can hear like whispered, we know about the heat eaters, right? What the devil is a heat eater?
And Mark, does Mark hear that?
Unfortunately, yes.
He's going to just shoot an image of the heat eater that he remembers from Rose Past. That.
I'm going to say, here's what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to put an image in the chat for you. Kind of like that, but except instead of an eye, it's teeth.
So Pac-Man with arms and legs, and for a mouth, it's just teeth.
Yeah, instead of an eye here.
Sorry, it's kind of a horrible looking thing. You guys think we can outrun them? I mean, from what it seems, they're kind of all around us.
I didn't bring this sniper rifle to look pretty.
Fair enough.
We're here to draw some attention, so let's draw some attention.
Yeah, we're supposed to be the bait, right? The distraction?
Hell yeah.
I suppose so.
All right, John, I will have you roll act under pressure on the coachman's behalf.
13. And it's an advance move.
Okay, so way ahead of you guys, there is a group of these things, probably 5 or 6. They're just like sort of walking around munching. One of them seems to have found
Munching what?
just chomping at the air, first of all.
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of this is going to be stuff that you wouldn't actually see, but it pleases me to narrate that
Yeah, do it.
Nom nom.
2 of them will descend upon like a large chunk of rock and just like both start chomping into it. The ones of them that are walking around, they don't walk, they like lurch hop horribly forward everywhere they go, and then they like chomp on this rock, and then one of them like turns and like out drops a molten stream of what then hardens into more of this glass. The coachman, seeing them, grins silently and turns the coach ever so slightly, such that they like perk up and turn to look at the incoming rumbling, and 2 of them are like splashed to bits.
Wow.
Oh, well, that's one way.
Roll over.
That's one way to kill him. Nice job, coachman.
Johnny, would you let me investigate a monster or read a bad situation on these heat eaters? In my playbook, as a freelancer, it does say investigate a monster. So, I mean...
Okay. It sounded like you were saying
Why
it.
don't you roll investigate a monster?
14.
And what does that entitle you to?
So I can use points from the touch move whenever I read a bad situation or investigate a monster. But I don't really need to since I rolled a 14.
Well, congratulations.
But I do want to ask some questions if I may.
You may.
I want to know, what can a heat eater do?
Well, I think the main thing is that the name is perhaps a deliberately playful misnomer, because what they actually do is ingest and then superheat themselves whatever they eat. That's how they draw out whatever odd nutrients keep them popping around. What that gives them is a pretty devastating bite, and also anything that they can get their hands on and semi-digest, they can then spit as a molten projectile.
Lovely. My other question is, what can hurt it?
Cold is the big one.
Yay, I have ice powers for Anna.
Is that all that can hurt them?
It's tough to get most projectiles through the goo into the core, which is the way to kill them, because again, they're composed of a slightly acidic, really hot gel.
Casey will aim with her sniper rifle and just evaluating these creatures and notice some of the disgusting spit coming out of it and it's sizzling as it hits the ground. Guys, just so you know, looks like whatever is in its body when it ingests its
Yep, molten lava.
yeah, and
Mark's gonna throw a fireball at it.
cold is also going to be most helpful against it.
Oh, and
might
then Mark
just-
puts it out as it's flying.
Mark, roll use magic.
That's exactly what we don't want to throw at it.
Mark remembers this as he throws the fireball. 9.
Pick a glitch.
Unexpected side effect.
Perfect. So as you're throwing a fireball out the window, as Casey is explaining to you that cold is going to be the best thing to use, you hurl this fireball at one of them. You sort of distracted and trying to catch the ball before you throw it, actually just wind up launching it kind of wide, and one of these things looks up, hops backwards and to the side a couple of times.
Oh my God.
Damn it.
And then leaps straight up and catches this fireball in its mouth.
Mark! The fuck?
Well, here we go again.
It lands, falls to all fours, doubles in size,
You made it worse!
and bursts into these flowing flames like, honestly, it looks like nothing more than like the flame is the fur of a giant werewolf.
Jesus Christ.
Like the cleric beast from Bloodborne.
Can Casey turn to Ramsey and Nick holding out her sniper rifle and be like, are you able to cast any kind of spell magic on this that'll...
Stand aside!
Okay.
Anna,
Maybe I can use my king wings.
Nope.
Anna shoots an ice blast at this fucking thing.
Can Mark... I don't know if Mark has any abilities with his wings to put out anything. Or like shoot wind at it. I don't know.
I mean, maybe. You'd have to get up awful close.
Can Anna shoot an ice blast at this thing?
Yeah, roll combat magic.
10.
I got this, guys. Can Mark fly out of the cab?
Absolutely.
Casey grab him and keep him in the cab.
Both Casey and Mark each roll act under pressure.
I'm going to add 2 to this.
8.
10.
Perfect. So, Mark pushing open the door on the way out, goes to dive, and Casey, perhaps sensing in the exact second that he was going to do that, actually drops the sniper rifle in Nick's lap and spins around to catch Mark by both of his ankles. Whoa! And is pulled nearly all the way out the door. And oh boy, I can see this so clearly. You're like sliding across the floor of the coach, and you like post up both of your feet on the jambs of this door.
When the fuck did you get wings again?
I don't know.
And Mark, you are like just acting like a sail, like a wind drag.
Oh my God. Put him in! Anna's like, I can't get a good shot off!
Sorry, I'm trying.
So Anna rolled a 10 for her ice magic.
So then we roll that like kick some ass, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
But since it is combat magic, it does do specific things. So yeah, I have it's an ice blast, so it would be basically 2 harm, and then it would also restrain, so 3 harm total in this thing, and it also would restrain it slightly.
Okay.
I think Mark is able to maybe squeeze himself back in and sit down.
Tommy would have reached out the door and grabbed you by the collar and pulled you back in.
Casey would have fallen on her ass on the floor of this coach. Thank you, Tommy. Mark, let's stick together.
Yeah. I just remembered as I threw the fireball. I'm getting used to this king shit.
I get it. Anna's got this.
Yep. I'm gonna
I think Kira's like, you sit tight. Don't forget, they've got some sort of mind knife out here somewhere. You're probably a target.
Yeah. We're Secret Service, bud.
No, I'm a king.
Kings have Secret Service? Whatever. I don't give a fuck. What happens with Anna's ice?
Well, I think first of all, Tommy's going to pat Mark on the shoulder. Look, I know you're excited.
It's fine.
It's a hell of a thing to be the big gun and be the damsel in distress all at the same time.
I think Mark is about to say something. When he says that, he's just like, I'm sure.
It's like they say, when you come for the king, you better not miss. So we want to be sure to aim you right. Got it?
Got it.
So Anna fires a bolt of ice that will beam this thing in one of its shoulders, actually like sizzling out the top part of its right arm. It will still be like lumbering and trying to pick up speed to chase after you. And one of the little guys, very clumsily, and because the big one isn't stopping to allow it to do so, like be grabbing onto its leg and climbing up it to vomit something very hot onto the spot on its shoulder that had been restrained.
Do we see any other, besides these creatures, do we see anything else in this area?
I think sort of peppered throughout all over the place, there's like one or two of these things hundreds of feet away from you in most directions. And they're all kinds of sickly colors. They're all like kind of an acid pastel. There's some that are like vaguely pink, some that are like a chalky yellow, some that are a dim blue.
But with no signs of life.
No, you are headed closer and closer to the cosmopolitan area.
Okay, I see. So we're kind of on the outskirts right now. Is there one like right in front of us then in our path still?
You kind of just blew through this group, and the bulk of the ones that are mad at you are behind you.
Okay, cool. I'm kind of wondering if Kira can't tap into some of Ember's magic and see if she can't, like, how she had kind of done when she was in the sea, have like almost spikes from the earth just form up to kind of make a wall to like slow these things down behind them. Could she maybe do that?
Yeah, why don't you roll use magic?
14.
Well, damn.
Advance move. A +1 on my next roll.
Okay, so why don't you tell me what happens?
Yeah, so I think these things are kind of coming, following behind us. Kira it says in her mind to Ember, think we can maybe slow these things down?
At the absolute least.
Then I think I want her to kind of, how did you say it described the terrain? It almost looked like glass.
Yeah, it's sort of like blown glass, like it's rolling and flowing, but frozen.
Yeah, so I kind of almost want to like take that terrain and just like shift it up. It's like it's like the Earth's like crust,
Tectonic plates
coming together. Yes, the tectonic plates just push together and form just this wall in front of them, so that at the very least it will slow them down. They'd have to get around it somehow, and I think it kind of forms a little like semicircle kind of around the path that they were on.
Yeah, so it'll pop up like interlocking shards, shove into each other and kind of grow up into these miniature mountain range, basically, that they'll have to go around.
Keep it going.
And I think between that and the speed of the coach, but you can see as you keep going, the wall itself, you can see the center of it glow a dim red, then a hot orange, then like melt, and then out will bound this thing still coming for you, but it's been slowed down enough that it just seems to recede until it's just a distant star point on the horizon.
Perfect.
Of note, it's not dead.
Yes.
And then with that, I think I'd like to shift for a moment to real Theo. Same as the uncanny like standby mode that clone Theo is in, is what all the rest of these people have. The way I'm seeing it, my understanding of the way that you had kind of set up the control protocol, as it were, was that you sort of patched them into the brain zone of each of the people that they're a clone of, which basically gives them a kind of inflow of like the base unconscious of each person. So they could speak when spoken to and react more or less how the other person would. But until such time as that happens, the main part of their brain is busy in the stars.
Mm-hmm.
It's very strange. Maybe a little lonely.
I do want to say, because I do have a hold still left to use for my sect, that if needed, Dawnbreak is waiting somewhere close by to Yano's, I think, to be a support.
Okay.
So I know that it's illegal, but Theo would have liked to have taken Yano's truck, but knowing that Yano's truck would not have fit all of us, I guess some of the clones would be in the bed of the truck.
The bed of the truck? Yeah, that tracks. They wouldn't mind.
Theo sits in the truck a moment, and I think deep breath in and slow exhale. She gets out of the truck and goes up to Yano's apartment with the clones.
Okay.
It's a very strange elevator ride up.
Shall we play I Spy? Just kidding.
So yeah, you ride up and you unlock and open the door to Yano's condo. All of his stuff is just like he left it, as though he might come home at any moment.
Yeah, I mean, I was just here. Theo's going to sort of position the clones, I think, in like the living room.
Sure, I'll stand here.
Great. Yeah, you just stay right there. Theo's gonna find that letter that she had found of Yano's and didn't read and I think pocket it. She's gonna take the fake crown, put it in the oubliette. She's gonna take out, I don't know, I guess I'm imagining it like almost like a glass growler that the spirit is maybe in, that Dawnbreak got.
Okay.
Can I roll use magic to use my rote of astral vision?
Sure.
That'll be a 9. So for a mixed success, it says a cloudy vision. We both hold one to use in the situation once there. So we as in you and then me.
Okay. What are you trying to look at?
Theo's trying to look at what's about to happen. I think this conversation between the Star King and her. I know that's really hard. I think that in this moment, this is what Theo would grasp at, like safety net sort of.
I understand, but I think the way that this works, especially because it's a 9, you like get a sort of visual version of the indecision you are feeling. Like you can see all of the ways that you have imagined this going. You see all of those. You are looking into where different variables will fall in the future, and many of those variables are under your own control.
It feels like in every single scenario, it gets to the exact same, like, they all get to the same point, but then, like, stop as if, like, the film reel was, like, cut. And it's just like, but I want to see past that and just hitting, like, I imagine this, like, bouncy jelly wall.
It's hard to see the future of what you are going to do.
Theo will...
All right, you freak out for a second. I'm going to go make a drink.
Aren't you glad you stayed back by yourself?
It's fine. It is fine.
Kirabot,
Yeah.
Annabot, and Markbot are there with you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We will respond. We will respond in kind.
Kira, what would you do? The Kira bot.
About what?
Now? What would you do now?
Do you mean contacting the Star King, or what about that letter? Maybe you should read it.
How is that going to help right now?
Well, Yano is somebody that you care about, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's where I get my strength from, thinking about the people that care about me.
Theo reaches into her pocket and, like, fingers the envelope. Sort of. Not necessarily she opens it, but, like, you know, it kind of opens. If that's what you would do, Theo's gonna read the letter.
Did I describe at all what the card looked like itself?
You can do it again if you want.
Well, what it is, it's a very basic store-bought thank you card.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
It might even strike you as basic, and in any other state of mind, you might roll your eyes at it. But you open it, and then starting at the top, it has the word Sorella, that's crossed out, and then Theora, and then the RA is crossed out, and then that whole thing is crossed out, and then it says Theo. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for your hospitality and kindness in helping me find my feet in your city. I have lived as an outsider, hunting monsters and fixing sinks, with skills gained from a life of blood and violence. I have helped the people of Duluth, but I was never truly one of them. To work with you and your friends, to teach and to learn, is a page turned in my life that I never thought to expect. The threats you face are above what I would consider to be my pay grade, but you and yours seem to have no pay grades, no limits. You will leave no sink broken. The world is lucky to have people like you, and so am I. Yours very truly, Giacomo Bianchi, Yano.
Oh. I think Theo reads it like 2 more times, sticks it back in its envelope and pockets it.
If there's one thing from that note that I want to echo in Theo's head, it is the phrase, no limits. What do you do?
Theo takes off her drawstring bag, kneels on the ground, using sand, draws like a circle with the sand, places the glass growler with the spirit inside of it, pushes some magic from her outstretched hands and into the sand circle, and then drops Rex's hairs in the circle as well. And then Theo will uncork the jar and break the circle of sand.
And roll use magic.
With a +1 because of sympathetic token, right?
Yeah. That's going to be a 13. I think that Theo's magic here is like silvery white. Like not the gray silver, but a like, not opal, because opal to me feels like it's more like a blue, but it's more of like a white.
Pearlescent.
Yes. Thank you.
Why don't you tell me what happens?
The pearlescent magic that Theo had used and pushed into the sand, and then when she breaks it with her hand, zips inward to the jar and almost like filling up like water, pushes and guides the spirit out. I think it just helps it along up to the ceiling and sort of.
So yeah, it is like there's a sort of glowing multicolored core here that's sort of surrounded by this glowing silvery sort of bubble, but really it's like a layer that like swirls around it and then just shoots straight up and through the ceiling. And you can, I want us to sort of follow it, and it will like zoom. Each place it goes is just an individual image of the place that it's passing through, zooming dramatically towards the camera, so to speak. The city, and then the woods, and then some kind of a barrier, and then it's starscape, and then it's a nebula burst, and then it's this glassy cityscape, and then it's the star citadel, and then it's a very elegant kind of door, and then it's what appears to be sort of a throne room, and then you can see Rex's face, and then snap, and then you are back in where you are. Your sort of vision is, rather. And then it's like the light, the bottle in the now broken ring of sand sort of catches the light, and then you can see your distorted reflection, and then the undistorted reflection of the gray hand. What do you think you're doing?
I wasn't sure that you would hear my call if I called out to you normally.
Yes, I suppose your people have a saying about creaky wheels.
I'd like to talk.
So talk.
I have what you asked me to do. I have the crown.
You hear him speak again, but now, his reflection in the bottle is as distorted as yours, and his voice comes from right behind you. Is that so?
Theo will stand and turn to face him.
What's brought about this uncharacteristic burst of obedience?
I know that the end is inevitable. I've seen it. Mark showed me it. I saw you succeed, and I give up. Can't fight destiny.
He'll turn to Mark Bot. Marklone. I've had that one locked and loaded since season 1. Oh, god damn it. If you've watched Fringe, you know why I'm doing this. You've got Mark Clone, you've got Fake Hera, and you've got an alternate.
Wow.
He will turn to Mark Clone and be like, you couldn't have shown her this weeks ago?
He can't control when he has his visions.
It's just a shame all the wasted effort.
Theo's gonna like bow her head. And
This could have been a noble ending.
Well, can't it still be?
I need Mark to roll manipulate someone, and I need Theo to roll help out.
14.
Fucking fuck.
Is that advanced?
Yeah, it is.
Hell yeah.
I feel like Theo might say, I know I've tarnished your legacy.
Ooh. Advanced move indeed. Oh, no. Don't cry. You're my prodigal prince. I mean, the ending you had built previously was satisfying enough for me. A hero triumphing over his enemies, after all. You and yours have many stories that end that way. But better? Why settle for delivering the humiliation of failure when I can accept the return of my loyal vassals, and you come to see things my way, and together, like I wanted to begin with, we give all of this meaning.
I'm speechless that you would accept me back or give me mercy. I thought you would be furious.
Well, this does upset the timetable somewhat because we will have to make space for your sense of punishment after all.
Justly?
Now then. And he will reach out with a flourish with his gray right hand. My crown.
May I humbly beg from you that you give them, and Theo's gonna gesture towards Kira and Mark and Anna, their loved ones that you took from them, being that the end is inevitable in your hands. They'd like to spend it together.
His inscrutable glass helmet cocks ever so slightly to one side. But their stories are so wonderful as it is. I mean, you coming home and finally seeing reason, that's delightful. But they're humans. To lose a loved one is to finally see them in their totality. The entire story crystallized. Why would I rob them of that?
Well, the story of losing also includes the story of grieving. Won't you let them grieve together? The loss of one another, the loss of their life? I mean, you would like to celebrate in the place that you feel most triumphant and powerful. Why don't you let them see what they're losing?
Roll manipulate someone. Oh, you're so stressed out. I love it.
Oh, that's a 10.
Okay.
I mean, isn't it more impactful, or the word escapes me, to see what you love and cherish and what could have been disappear in front of you rather than imagine?
He wags his finger at you and he's like, do you have any idea how infuriating it is to talk to you? You removed yourself from my sight.
Did that upset you?
Yes, obviously.
Why?
I'm trying to conduct the orchestra and you're all doing human jazz.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. Why does it upset you that you couldn't see me?
I could have planned to grant this request, is what I'm saying.
But ultimately, it's up to you.
Obviously.
I hope it goes without saying that you don't need to bring him to me. I don't deserve that.
Well, they're all wrapped up in the same situation. It will take time, but I can.
Is it something that I can help with?
He cuts himself off and he's like, that's actually a fine punishment. Well, it'll all go much faster and things will fall into place once I have my crown. If you please.
Yes.
I think he actually might at this point look to Mark Lone. Do you need time to fetch it from your cloud locker?
No, it's not there.
I think Mark lets out just a rolls eyes.
Continuing to address Mark. Is this true?
It's not. There are other people out there that want that power.
Mark, roll plus charm to lie.
12.
Okay.
Get wrecked.
Mark, you successfully lied your ass off.
Hell yeah.
Can Theo sort of step away and gesture towards the second bedroom?
Are we waiting for one of your humans to fetch it for you?
We moved it into the oubliette that's here because we were afraid that you would use Mark to get to it. I can lead you to it. It's through the bedroom, in the closet, and there's another door.
We'll manipulate someone.
I want to do something.
I mean, I know what you want to do.
I think Theo's going to ball her fist. You're doubting me here at the end. I know that you're going to win. I know that it's all going to end. That my only purpose is to serve you. And Theo's going to just throw her hands out, and she wants to create a wall of force that will smash down the clones. Not smash them, but push them to the ground to try and I guess maybe influence the Star King that
What do you mean by push them down? Restrain them or reveal them as clones?
Restrain them, more so kind of taking a flat.
I'm on your side.
Yeah, I'm on your side.
I'm betraying my friends in a way?
Yeah, there will be tears, real tears. coming down her face when she like does this.
Well, first of all, we'll use magic then.
Fuck! My hands are so fucking clammy. I can't hold my dice.
Big night.
Yeah. 10.
So, okay. You like hold your hands out, and I think it's like probably a series of walls of force that you press down that just like shoves Marklone and Alternate and Fake Hera all to the ground.
And Alternate is like, damn it, Theo! Trying to like help sell it.
I'm sorry.
His immediate reaction is like, well, they could have gone to get it.
And I think Marcus, he's just like getting himself up from the ground. Just get the damn thing.
You can't get
up. You're pushed down.
But you are selling it perfectly because I think you are like doing the scramble and trying to do a push up, even though there is something weighing your chest into the floor.
If we sent one of them, they would do something with it.
That's good. It's very good. He'll look down at them and he'll look up at you.
This is all I was waiting for? Why couldn't all of this have happened weeks ago? You understand?
I didn't know this is what you wanted. I'm sorry.
No. I've grown very accustomed to keeping my agendas obscured. Had I but known how correctly I had chosen, this could have all been so much easier.
I'm sorry.
And I think he's going to look at Mark and Kira and Anna, and he will repeat,
this could have all been so much easier.
And then he will hold his left metallic hand out to Theo.
Will you bring me my crown?
Theo will nod, swallow, and walk into the second bedroom and into the closet. Can I ask a clarifying question?
Mm-hmm.
Is the Star King following me or staying in the living room?
He is staying in the living room.
Can he see me in the closet?
I think the way it would kind of be laid out, he can see you go into the closet, but then he would lose sight of you as you like approach the door to the oubliette.
Okay. Theo will open the door to the oubliette, but with her other hand, activate and drop the signal bomb, and she will dive into the oubliette and scream.
Ooh,
As if like somebody's attacking you.
Nice.
As if like
because he did believe that somebody was after it.
They had booby trapped it and I didn't know. Plus, like, Mark's glyphs in a language that I'm not familiar with is written out there.
That's true.
Miah's dead.
I can't believe I thought of that.
Amazing things happen when you're under a gun.
Are you're gonna jump in and shut the door behind you, or just jump in?
No, I'm just jumping in and leaving it open.
So you drop this, it explodes, you jump in, you scream. The gray hand, who had been sort of looking around in that way that you do when you've been left alone in a room waiting for someone else, swivels his head back around, and this just wave of light noise overtakes everything. And we're going to cut back to the stars.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to the intermission for Season 3, Episode 41. There's a lot going on, but don't worry, we're here in the intermission and things will be just fine, and we don't have to worry about, the crazy things going on. Thank you all so much for joining us and for listening along. It really means a lot to have you guys here. And these next few episodes are going to be pretty crazy, but I promise you, if anything, you're at least in for a good ride. So, first of all, I got a couple of announcements that I wanted to share with you. First up, for our patrons, we've got a brand new episode of our House of Grades miniseries that's going to be coming your way in 2 weeks from now on November 5th. And then, as usual, our next episode of the cover story will also be coming out in 2 weeks on November 5th. And we're going to be continuing more of this insane finale arc. We've only got a few episodes left, and oh boy, it gets really good, guys. If you'd like to support the show, please leave us a rating and review, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your listening platform of choice. We appreciate all the reviews that we get, and we read every single one, so we'd love to hear from you guys. And, if that's not your style, maybe just tell your friends about us, because that is one of the best ways for our podcast to grow. You can also follow us on social media. We are on Twitter at Monster Playbook, and everywhere else we are Monsters Playbook, so head on over there if you want to connect with us. And you can also support us monetarily by subscribing to our Patreon for some exclusive monthly bonus episodes, some subscriber-only swag, as well as a blooper reel that we put together at the end of every arc. You can also head over to our merch store and Ko-fi page to support us over there as well. And we also have a Discord server if you want to connect with us more directly. We are in there. We do listen parties for every episode. We have an Ask Me Anything thing where people can ask questions, talk about the latest episodes, and so much more. These links and more can be found in our Direct Me profile, which is in this episode's show notes. Our promo for this week is for our friends over at 5 GMs in a Trench Coat, an actual play podcast where 5 friends take turns weaving stories to the tabletop system of their choice for each season. So far, they've played Cyberpunk Red, Fate Core, Escape from Dino Island, and the Marvel Multiverse RPG. Let's take a listen.
5 GMs in a Trench Coat is back, and this time with Season 3. As GM Tanlin uses Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition for her story.
Imagine the stench of fear, of sweat and of blood, cold stone beneath your palm as you feel your way down an impossibly dark and endless hallway. Here there's as much fear as there is isolation, and as much hopelessness as there is violence, or at least fantasies of it.
Join Callan Omoris Caldwell, played by Adam Gonzalez, Reen Sato, played by Kim Siyuki, 2.5 Horns, played by Jesse Espinoza, and Onder Madison, played by Tanner Sherlock, as they navigate the kingdom of Mutant and the horrors that await them.
So you guys hear, an alarm bell, fucking, all the doors go, shadunk! And then you also hear, coming from the ceiling.
5 Gems in a Trench Coat is a TTRPG actual play podcast where 5 friends take turns weaving stories to the tabletop game of their choice each season, with new episodes out every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are in Silent Hill. It was just a joke before!
You can find out more about 5 GMs in a Trench Coat on their website at 5gmsinatrenchcoat.com, and be sure to listen to them wherever you get your podcasts. All right, with that, let's get back to the episode and back to the craziness, guys.
The coach, having cleared the sort of glassy wilderness, now finds itself, goddamn if you aren't riding down what seem like urban side streets. The vibe I want you guys to get here, it's sort of like the movie Tron.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is built with this kind of machine efficiency, stacked high and densely stored. And there's even obviously not people, but a populace walking around here, sort of going about their business. They're all in various forms of, transparency. Some sort of spirits, some seem to be straight up constructs. Some what you would otherwise peg as third ring demons. Just going about their business, seated around outdoor tables. Eating? ? Walking down the street and kind of throwing you looks that vary between suspicious to disinterested to annoyed at the noise of the wheels. And you are just kind of in this star city, making your way through.
Can Kira and/or Anna read a bad situation? See if we see any.
Kira or Anna could read a bad situation.
I rolled double 6s. That's a 16 advanced move for Kira because she had a +1 for her.
Whoa, okay.
I think for sure with one of my questions, I would like to ask, are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
So I think that plus the freebie I want to give you is that you're going to overhear a bunch of snippets of conversation. The overwhelming topic that is on everyone's lips, the trending topic of the moment. The phrase that they're tossing around is the sky has fallen. L-O frickin' L. They're all talking about a battle that happened, and varying degrees of details and exaggerations are being tossed around. But the punchline is that it happened and it's over, and they're not worried about it anymore. I think as you get sort of deeper in and closer to the sort of central area of the city, you can see little pieces of wreckage as though some battle had been through or above these places and things had fallen. Cleanup crews picking up and dragging away what appear to be large human-sized anthropomorphic eagles. And most of the storefronts, as it were, are, at least in a makeshift way, put back together. There had been a big dangerous thing going on here. There had been a cause for concern. There had been an ongoing fight, but it's over now and everyone feels perfectly safe. And to answer your first question, no, there are no dangers you haven't noticed.
My next question, what would be the best way to attract attention? The kind that we are looking for, to get a prince to notice us.
King Clayton.
Sky has not fallen.
Precisely. Nothing worse than a fresh memory of a fight, the reminder that a wound is not closed.
Okay, and I'm going to remind myself that if we follow this advice, we get a +1 ongoing until the scene is resolved.
I'm glad you're reminding yourself.
I'm reminding myself, and I'm reminding John, because you're going to probably have to do some rolls here, buddy.
Also, this also works towards stopping his vision, right? So he gets 1 towards that.
Maybe?
Right?
Technically.
Okay, and I have one more question. Do you guys have any thoughts on question we want to ask?
I do have a question, but I feel like as Casey, I would want to ask it. But I'm really curious about do we know if the members of this, the citizens of the Star Kingdom, are they in agreement to ending everything the Star King, or are they just afraid and are just kind of cowed into going along, or do they not know? You know what I mean?
I don't know if we would know that without listening more to their
So I'd say do a different question, but that's something that I think as Casey I'm trying to maybe evaluate from the conversations and from the demeanor of people.
And then okay, here we go. Just look at the questions, Lauren. They usually have some options. I think the next thing is, once we kind of attract this attention, we're going to need to make a speedy exit. So what's our best way out?
Yeah.
Aha. Oh, and that's when the evening went from good to great.
For who? For us or for you?
Both, I hope. Because Mark, as you got into sort of some of this wreckage-strewn space, the timber of the rolling of the wheels of this coach got just the teeniest bit echoier, and you can see that some of this sort of fallen wreckage has actually torn open holes in the street, and you can see stuff beneath it. The answer to the question, what it would be the best way out, is down. Where you are, there's an undercity.
Can the coachman get in there, into the undercity?
With much difficulty, but it'd be, if you were trying to get him out, it's a different question. But for you guys, find his way or your way into the undercity.
Would Bro have known any ways to the Undercity?
Why don't you roll Investigate a Mystery?
Would he get a +1 from the read bad situation to this?
Yes.
8.
So yes, but no. By which I mean, I think the first thing is that one of the humanoid eagle things being carted away, so much busted off construction residue. Yeah, you realize as you're looking at him that it's not an eagle at all. It's a crow. And that's Corvus. That's the body of another one of Ro's princes. And it catches in your chest this loss that you spoke to him precisely once, but with your Ro memories, there's so much more. This was This was a protege. This was
A successor.
not a successor, like a gadfly. He was a pain in the ass, but he was often right. He was a rogue. He was crass. He was impulsive, but he was yours. You are staring at where they pulled him from, and yeah, you can see characteristically he didn't go down easy. And where he crashed, he left a crater, which is it's just like him.
I see.
And you can sort of mark this spot in this kind of side market, is what I'm going to call this neighborhood. There's a huge hole with that, like, it would be a rough going in for the coach. You'd be essentially skipping from broken floor to broken floor for a couple of stories, but that would get you down into Undercity.
He left us something behind. Like all the big things he's done for the Sky Kingdom, he left us a crater, an entrance to the Undercity. But it might be kind of hard for the coach to get in there, but that is our best way in.
Functionally, let me just make sure that everyone kind of understands. For you people as people-sized entities, if you were kind of on the run, knowing what Mark knows, you could duck down alleys and climb down ladders and go down side staircases and get into the Undercity, which is sort of this underground maze kind of thing that you would know about. And then from there, be better able to evade anybody chasing you and get into the spot you want to get that will lead you into the sea. What Mark just found out is that there is a blasted crater that Corvus left. That is a way in that the coach will fit through.
Okay.
So you wouldn't have to be on foot. It would be a tough going to get in because it would be like ka-thunk, ka-thunk, ka-thunk. But then you'd be in the Undercity and have the coach.
Okay. So maybe let's try to get the coach in and see if some of the magic users can't make it a little bit of an easier path for the coach to get in. Because I think that's the immediate challenge. But once we get through that, from what it sounded like, the escape after that point would be probably quicker.
I feel like it would just be easier and smarter just to stay on one moving thing.
Mm-hmm. I think Kira might look to Mark. Well, what Tommy was saying, I think, is right. You are kind of our big gun here, and so I think this is probably the time where we want to point you. We need to draw their attention, but then we need to slip into this Undercity. So I think it's time to let them know that there's a new king of the sky.
You are pointing and shooting Mark. How? What you doing?
And what is the Undercity exactly?
So, okay, why don't you roll Investigate a Mystery for me to see how completely I will answer this question.
10.
You're digging through archived memories in your own head. And they're like written with like note-taking in a system that you don't recognize. So it's weird to parse through it. But the Undercity...
And I'll give you why I'm asking, because I'm wondering what I can use from if there's anything of the Undercity that bothers the sky that we can amplify, or
the
like
stars?
Or the stars. Sorry, yes.
Oh, I thought you said this guy. And it totally made sense to me because there is some stuff down here that probably bothers him. The Undercity is the base on which the Star Kingdom as you know it was built. In its earliest days, it had been this other thing, and then the Greyhand's ambitions and his sight grew, and he became an all-about order kind of guy and tried to change it. But for reasons unclear to me so far, and therefore to you, but clear to the kings themselves, that kind of destruction and renovation wasn't an option. You can't just raise, with a Z, a city. You can't just destroy a kingdom and start over. Or at least you couldn't until they saw the fire. So that means that his only option to evolve his kingdom beyond its messy, I think. I don't think it's like cutthroat. I don't think it's like a den of pirates or anything, but it is like chaotic, like the formation of stars. It's a lot of different things mashing together and becoming something new, which makes it difficult to predict and difficult to control. So he buried it. So down here, one of the main things of like the feeling, the descriptions of the kinds of things that you will see is, imagine like the alley markets in Blade Runner, Like it's this whole place, I want you to be getting cyberpunk vibes.
Neo Tokyo vibe? Okay, I was gonna say like, yeah, Neo Tokyo kind of vibes.
Everything will be very cramped. Everything will be very bright and noisy. And the heterogeneity of the people and things down here is orders of magnitude beyond what you see upstairs. It's like Blade Runner meets Spirited Away. And then I'll allow you to ask a question and a half, because that was a lot.
What did you say he buried down there? Sorry.
This whole city, a former version of the Star Kingdom itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
It's kind of almost like he built the 2.0 version over it and like, no, this is the city. Don't worry about that city under there.
Yeah.
Are there any high-profile groups in the Undercity?
Ooh, that's a good question, Mark Clayton. For your purposes, the most important character in the Undercity is going to be a person known as the Eclipse.
Do we know of the Eclipse? What do they do?
Rose certainly knows of the Eclipse.
Or what their legacy is? Is it a singular person or is it is a group?
It's both. Though I think the more common name for the person at the top of it is the Underking, because that's what they are. This is a person who has sort of consolidated a kind of life and power down here in spite of being buried, and to spite the Grey Hand himself. So from your Row memories, you know that if what you want is to humiliate the Star King, or at least infuriate the Star King, by showing that to be your goal, you will win yourself an ally in the form of the Underking and his Eclipse. Well, no, not necessarily his Eclipse. Not quite clear. I don't think Ro's ever seen them.
Okay. Well, based on Ro's memories, I think we might have an organization down here that can start fucking with things.
Okay. Well, we can probably use that, but I think for right now...
I'm going to need to know what your move is right now.
Yeah, right now we need to attract attention and we need to get out of here. But I think that is a good fucking chip to play for when we come back, inevitably, to fight the Star King, to talk with this Undercity people. We just need you to fucking let your Mark Clayton ass shine.
Show your whole ass.
Yeah.
Spread your wings, Mark Clayton.
That's better. I think as you're sort of looking, Tommy will try to catch your eye, Mark. Point and shoot.
I have to be careful with this because I'm acting as other Mark Clayton elsewhere.
He's distracted.
He's distracted, but if I set off a bomb, he's going to notice.
I see what you're saying.
Because then he immediately goes, oh, this is a trap. And then he turns his attention away.
The fact, we still want to try to draw the princes out, though. Like, that's why we came here, was to bring some of them out so that we could maybe attack them, because I'm still not convinced that those princes aren't our people.
The Star King was making princes,
Yes.
not choosing princes.
Do you want to roll tune in, Mark?
As far as, like, is now a good time?
Mark has a valid concern, which is to make this play in a place where the Star King will surely get word of it, would be to say, this is where Mark Clayton actually is, and the one you're looking at is fake.
But I could call the Sky Kingdom for what we have down here and start attacking this kingdom and drawing them out without being directly involved.
Because of what time it is, I'm going to insist that this is your plan.
Yeah, no, it is. I think that's what I would do is
No. That the following is your plan. Because I want to do something else. Because you have a lot of interesting things to play with and a lot of interesting things to talk about next time. For now, Mark, I want you to follow this instinct of, I should see how things are going on the other side. I want you to roll tune in.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of it's a timing thing.
13.
Sick. So you kind of reach out with your mind and you see Theo looking perhaps performatively dejected, shuffling into Yano's second bedroom, opening up the closet, putting a hand on the oubliette door and swinging it open, and then surreptitiously checking around to see that she's not seen, pulling out this kind of cylinder with like a bunch of wires and a single glowing rod in the center that she then flips a switch on, drops, screams and dives inside. It explodes, And then the following happens. Theo, first of all, I want you to roll Act Under Pressure to successfully ride this explosion and just mitigate the force part.
11.
So yeah, you like take note of where everything is, ride this explosion in. I think it's less forceful than you maybe thought to anticipate, so it doesn't like carry you through the air or anything. It does just pull you into a controlled roll that will have you kind of slide into the table on which is resting the crown. The other thing to note is that Signal Bomb wasn't wrong. And you kind of find that the main thing that it's done to you is like overwhelmed your brain with information and then set it loose more or less forcibly, trying to parse as much of it as it can. You are having a sort of hyperfixation episode on what seems to be just a stack of nonsense, but might not be, and you got to figure it out. So that will keep you distracted for a couple of seconds. Mark, you can see, I think this thing actually sort of hits you as well, but a muted version of it.
Okay.
You are kind of doing the thing that you maybe did with your visions when you first started to get them, which was play them over and over and over in your head, looking for any and all details and scraping through for anything that might help. And this is the densest one you've ever experienced. So much information, so much going on. Impossible to tell what's real, impossible to tell what matters, impossible to tell. There's things in here that seem to be references to something else. It's a Twitter bomb. And then the other thing that will happen that I think nobody quite notices, or do they, is that all of the pinned down bots go absolutely turned off limp. And into this oubliette, yes he does, will stumble the Star King, looking around and sort of shielding what you would approximate would be his eyes.
And if you hadn't removed yourself from my sight, I could have protected you from them. Which one did it?
I feel like Theo's can't respond. She's grabbing.
He's standing well above you because he can't tell where you are. And he's like,
Grey Centaur, are you there?
Try to get out. Try to get out. Try to get out. Try to get out.
Theo, roll plus sharp to collect yourself.
I'm using my +1 that I got from earlier.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
Oh!
My face is back to being immediately hot.
My butt is clenched.
Oh boy! All right.
So, you are experiencing straight up double vision. You have borderline debilitating tinnitus, and
Like jumbled words or something?
it occupies the same space as tinnitus, but it's more like white noise. And yes, overlapping voices. Like do you remember that trend of videos for a while where it would be someone would upload a video to like YouTube, but it would be an entire album with the audio edited to make it sound like you had locked yourself in the bathroom while a party was happening outside?
Sure.
Yeah,
I know that's
understand what you're
stunningly specific, but they were everywhere in 2018.
I understand what you're trying to say. I did that recently. And
It's like that. Like it suddenly sounds like every room on the other side of every wall is having a very loud, annoying party. And it will be a struggle to stand up and move if that's what you decide to do. Just saying. And that's what you get with a 7. What do you do?
I think Theo's gonna crawl. I don't think that she's gonna. Yeah. I don't think she would be able to stand up. I don't think she would think to stand up. I think she would think to crawl and try and be invisible and try to be small. And
Try to get out the door?
yeah.
Or try to go deeper in?
Try. Where is he? Oh, I can't.
He's in the room.
You don't know. And you want those people to shut up so that you could focus. They're arguing about Darkwing Duck now.
Do I know? Can I tell that he's in here?
You heard his voice.
I think Theo's going to like yell and point towards where generally the direction of the crown is, and just be like, "It's over there! It's there! It's on the table!"
Roll manipulate someone. Subtract 1.
I knew it was coming. Brat. That is a 9.
you are going to feel a heavy hand on your shoulder, sort of guide you into standing up. Squinting and disoriented comes his voice.
This room also was hidden from me. Can you guide me there?
I can try. It's affecting me too. Can you stop it?
Do you know which one of them did it?
It's hard to be for sure. They're all magical.
Well, that makes it easier.
And then you hear a number of heavy things fall.
He's in the oubliette though, so can he do magic?
Plus, Mark had superpowered the glyphs. I mean, I think as Theo's been talking, she's trying to guide him towards where the crown is.
Okay.
We've trapped Jonny.
No, it's just to slow him down. We're fighting our way out.
I think the thing that makes the most sense for him to then do, especially as he because when you said they're all kind of magical, he would go,
well, that actually makes it easier.
and then he would kind of take on some kind of pose that you can't really tell what's going on, and then shake his head, and then stumble out of the room.
Can he leave?
Well, he can't leave.
Okay. And then he would.
That's why I was like,
Yeah.
Theo, get up,
Yeah.
Theo, get up, Theo, get up.
Yeah, okay. He's gonna stumble out and then get to the door as he takes his first sort of steps as though towards the threshold, and then it's like his balance gives out in the opposite way, and he rears back and half steps and catches himself.
Where are you? Where did you go?
They did something to the door too. I just want bad coincidences. I can do it normally, but whatever your traitorous blood bags did here.
The crown. It must.
Of course.
Theo's gonna try and go stumbling towards him to find him. Has at all this static cleared for Theo?
Very slightly, not that much. Roll act under pressure.
You said act under pressure? Question, why am I acting under pressure?
To move.
Okay.
He's not dealing with the consequences of your spells.
To move with accuracy.
Towards him?
Yep. So you rolled act under pressure. So that's 2d6.
Yep.
And then you're adding probably plus cool, I think.
Yes. I'm going to use a luck point.
What? That means you're doomed.
Yeah.
Do you want to use it on this, or do you want to save it for something else? It's up to you.
Theo, don't do this.
It's up to you. Decide if it's on this roll or a later one.
I get. Do you? I mean, you have a good point, Lauren.
What is the roll?
Can I use my woman with a plan hold right now?
I'm going to need this question to be answered first.
If you were gonna burn the luck point, you can burn it if you want. I think either way, it's going to create some crazy shit.
I mean, sort of question, Jonny. If I use a luck point, it's not to get out of here,
No.
right?
Yeah, because this was just to get to him.
Okay, I'm not gonna use a luck point. And it's gonna be a 5. It's gonna be a failure.
Okay. So he's standing up by the door, and you are feeling your way around to walk over to him. You knock with your hip something and sort of fall forward, try to catch yourself, and your hand falls on something sharp and heavy and not attached to the table, so it slides off, and you basically face plant, and this thing falls from the table and lands with a crack, and then a bunch of pieces of black stone scatter in front of your face, and then out from between them are this wood. What would the woman with the plan hold have been to do?
So I did say that there was some Dawnbreak people waiting in reserve. I am wondering if we couldn't have had prepared. I think we've been having some people who've been working on jazz, and he might come in to help out.
Okay. So, Theo, in her brain fog, is stumbling towards the gray hand. Most of that all still happens. Your hip bumps into this table. It rocks back and forth a bit. You reach out to catch something to keep your balance. You don't hit the table. You hit what you are now certain is the crown, it slips out from under you and sort of sails in a very heavy downward arc. You almost faceplant, and then something catches you at the center of your chest just before you hit the floor, and you look up, and like an Inspector Gadget extendo arm ends with this hand that is holding the crown and is also holding you, Theo. And it like very automatically tips you up and puts the crown in your hands. And then you can kind of like trace this long metallic tube back to in the corner of this room, now wearing a probably more official Dawnbreak uniform.
Robe.
No,
It's not
robe.
It's not robes anymore.
Well, even if it was, it would be the robe material cut into a very baggy 1940s hipster dance shirt. And yeah, he'll step out of the corner and his extendo arms will like take you by the shoulder, spin you toward the door, and push you out of it. And then as you like are lying there, kind of catching your breath and still trying to get your bearings, you look behind you and you can see the stumbly gray hand looking incredulously at this guy who goes, "Join hands, Star Prince." And then the door will shut. Executive producer Jonny Grubb. This has been The Monsters Playbook, featuring
Detjen-Wander as Mark Clayton.
Lauren Johnson as Anna and Kira Ashwood.
Miah Detjen-Wander as Casey Davis and Theo Nessos.
and Jonny Grubb as literally everybody else. The Monsters Playbook is produced and engineered by Miah Detjen-Wander and edited by Miah Detjen-Wander and Lauren Johnson. Our theme song is by me, Jonny Grubb. If you liked this episode, please tell a friend. We love friends. And if you just can't get enough of the Monsters Playbook, join us on Patreon. We have bonus episodes, exclusive merch, and patron-only mini-series and side stories. Or join us on Discord, where we pretty much just hang out. We're also on social media, obviously, so you can get updates on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and Blue Sky. We'll see you next episode where, as always, I'll have some good news and some bad news. Thanks for listening. And together, like I wanted to begin with, we give all of this meaning.
Exquisite execution of that.
Oh, I have got his philosophy down. He's me, you guys. Oops, I said the quiet part loud.
No wonder I want to punch him in the face so much.